It's Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, people, and we are live, 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 live. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk about shit and more shit on Gayxyz.
One, two, one, two, one, two, cha cha cha. One, two, two, one, two, one, cha 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 cha. I took a pill and had a dream.
Yo también.
I went back to my 17th year. Allowed myself to be naive.
Dime,
To be someone I've never been.
me encanta.
I took a sip and had a dream. And I woke up in Medellin.
¿Te gusta?
The sun was caressing my skin.
Dime.
Another me could now begin.
Tranquila, baby, yo te apoyo. No hay que hablarnos mucho para entrar en rollo. Si quieres ser mi reina, pues yo te corono. Y pa' que te sientes aquí tengo un trono. Te gusta cabalgar, eso está claro. Si sientes que voy rápido, le bajo. Discúlpame, yo sé que eres Madonna, pero te voy a demostrar cómo este perro te enamora. Si te llevo por un lugar lejano, te enamoro, mami. Dame de eso que tú estás tomando.
Sipping my pain just like champagne. Found myself dancing in the rain with you. I felt so naked and alive.
Show me.
For once I didn't have to hide myself.
Dice, oye mamacita, ¿qué te pasa? Yeah. Mira que ya estamos en mi casa. Yeah. Si sientes que hay un viaje ahí en tu mente, será por el exceso de aguardiente. Pero mami, tranquila, tú solo vacila. Que estamos en Colombia y aquí rumbo en cada esquina. Y si tú quieres nos vamos por Detroit. Tú sabes, si sé de dónde vienes, pues sé pa' dónde voy, ¿no? Si te llevo por un lugar lejano, te enamoro, mami. Dame de eso que tú estás tomando. Si te enamoro, en menos de un año, nos vamos pa' Medallo. Qué rico. Si te enamoro, y si nos quedamos, pues mami, nos quedamos.
Cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2. Slow down, Poppy. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2. Ay, ay, ay. We built a cartel just for love. Venus was hovering above us.
Está bien,
I took a trip and set me free.
mi reina.
Forgave myself for being me. Ay, ay, ay. Ven conmigo, let's take a trip.
Si te llevo por un lugar lejano,
Ven conmigo, I'll get so good for you.
te enamoro, mami.
Ven conmigo, let's take a trip.
Dame de eso que tú estás tomando.
Ven conmigo, I'll get so good for you.
Si te enamoro, en menos de un año, nos vamos pa' Medallo. Ay, qué rico. Si te enamoro, y si nos quedamos, pues mami, nos casamos.
Cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2. Slow down, Poppy. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2. Ay, ay, ay. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Gayxyz. It's your host, Donovan and Jason. How are you, Jason? Jason, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there
I'm
you are.
here. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm good.
Your voice sounds weird. It sounds like you're like a little loud or something, but you're not. It's weird. You know, like it's like that sound when you're like we're too loud. It's like like that, you know?
Oh,
It's like
I
you're
don't
like
know.
Darth Vader. I don't know, kind of. But anyway,
Darth Vader.
it's just sort of like, I don't know.
What is that? I'm trying to say I sound like James Earl Jones. Or something?
Not really, no. I'm just saying that you sound weird. But anyway, that was Madonna's new song from her new album X, which is coming out on June 14th, 1 week after my birthday. So whatever happy birthday to me will be, and it's called Medellin, and it's from she's been living in Portugal, and she's picking up all this, like, absorbed all this culture and shit. So that's what her new album's about, and I love it. Also, apparently, Beyonce has a new song, a new album as well that Jason likes, and I have not listened to it. Do you like it?
Yeah, like it's just her homecoming album when she performed live at Coachella, and it's just like all of her, I guess her, best-selling hits and stuff like that.
Oh,
But actually, I'm not really big on CD or albums that do when like artists do like a live version of stuff.
yeah.
But hers actually sounds pretty good. I was surprised. I was intrigued.
Didn't she also just release a video or something?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and I don't have Netflix, but supposedly, yeah, she has like a thing, like a Netflix special or something like that about her performing and behind the scenes and all that, preparing for the tour, stuff like that.
Oh. The thing Madonna started in 1989, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, back to the Madonna song. I'm confused as what she's singing about because
Oh, shit. Sorry.
the song. Okay, I have questions because the song is really it really confused me. Like, it has like a Latin flair to it, clearly because the guy's speaking Mexican speaking Spanish in the song. But then but when she sings, it almost has like this Indian pop sound to it. I'm like, she's singing like an Indian pop star, but it has Latin flair to it. Honestly, I literally cannot understand what she was saying.
Well, the song is about her basically going to Medellin, which is a Colombian city. The guy that she's singing with, his name is Maluma. He's very famous in Colombia, South America, and also in Spain and places like that, Portugal. But he's just now hit here in America because of this song with Madonna. And people are starting to like him, know who he is. Anyway, the song's about her waking up in Medellin and basically being able to be yourself and feeling free and feeling happy and being able to be in love and just like be yourself for the first time without having to be someone she's not. And that's what it's about, basically. And just dancing and just having fun and singing and shit like that.
That's good. I just wish she would make up her mind on what she wants to do and be, but okay.
What do you mean?
Well, for the longest, she was speaking with a British accent, and now
She still does.
She, but I'm like, bitch, ain't you from Detroit?
She's from Bay City, Michigan.
Oh, but speaking with a British accent, okay.
She
wants to speak Spanish now. I'm like, girl.
She has been. Are you fucking crazy? She has been doing the Spanish thing since the very beginning of her music. Don't you remember La Isla Bonita? Do you remember that song? Last night I dreamt of San Pedro. That song.
Well, no, that's fine. I mean, there are a lot of American artists who do Spanish songs or songs in other languages, which is fine. I'm just trying to get over the fact, why is she speaking with a British accent if the bitch is from Detroit? That's all I'm saying, or Bay City. But,
because she lived in London for like 15 years, and one of her kids, her ex-husband is English and British, and she lived there that whole time, and her son is British or half British or whatever, and that's why. And I'm the same way. Like, if I go somewhere to a different country or something, and I've never lived anywhere that long, but if I did, I'd probably start talking with an English accent too, because I just kind of absorb wherever I go. Like, if I'm like in the South, I start talking like I'm from the South. If I'm in the North in New York, I'm like a New Yorker. I don't know. I just do that. So I think she's probably the same way. It's just a natural thing, and that's why she talks like that. And so it's okay. What's wrong with that? She lived there for a while. So she deserves it. So whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, the song, I like the song and the whole flavor of the album. thus far. I mean, it is the whole thing don't release until then. That's just the single, but we'll see where it goes. But anyway, excuse me, I have this cough and I've had it for like 2 weeks and I can't get rid of it. I think it's allergy related. I don't know.
It could be Ebola.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I apologize. I keep coughing. But anyway, so we tonight are just talking about a few things of pop culture today. It's Pop Culture Day. So talking about things we haven't really been able to talk about in a while since we haven't been on the air for 2 months. So we're going to just kind of catch up on a few things. But first of all, let's discuss the Real Housewives. Now, I watch all of the Housewives shows. You only watch Atlanta. Is that correct?
I watch Atlanta and Potomac.
And Potomac. Well, of course you do, because it's the black people. Okay, go on. Anyway, so Atlanta just had their last reunion of the 3-part reunion. And I have to say, I am so over Nene Leakes.
Yeah, she's officially canceled in my book.
Oh, yeah. I'm so over that bitch. I mean, and the reason I'm over her, first of all, I don't disagree that Cynthia may have known that Kenya was coming for sure, or may not have. Whatever the case, I think I agree with Nene that she should have told her because she knows they don't like each other, whatever. But I don't think you need to take it to this extent. I mean, it's one thing to be upset about something, like, oh, she's upset that she didn't tell her. She should have told her, sure. And Cynthia should say, okay, yes, I should have told you. I apologize, whatever. And then Nene says, okay, I accept your apology. Let's move on. But no, Nene has to just take it all the way and cut the bitch out of her life and say she fucking killed her cat or something. I mean, and she acts so fucking high and mighty about the whole thing. She's like, and like when Andy told her, said, when you push the cameraman or whatever, or whoever said it, they ended up going to the hospital. Oh, really? Oh, I don't care. Whatever. I mean, who says that shit?
Yes, her on this reunion. First of all, let me just start from the beginning. They could have done this reunion in an hour and a half. I don't know why Bravo wants to keep giving us a 3-part. I know it's probably for ratings, the reason they keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you guys could have done this reunion in an hour and a half special and been done with it. But my thing is, first of all, she's upset because supposedly Cynthia may or may not have known that Kenya was coming. And, Cynthia should have told Nene. But Nene, you did the same fucking thing to Kenya a few seasons ago with Walter. She did the same thing. Remember when Kenya was dating Walter and they had fallen out and they weren't speaking and they were, I guess they were on bad terms or whatever.
Right.
Nene had that party and Nene invited Walter and didn't tell Kenya, and then when Kenya confronted Nene was like, well, I can't invite whoever I want. This is my party.
Exactly.
I'm like, you did the same fucking thing.
She's a hypocrite.
Nene, I'm over Nene. Like, and then the whole thing with this whole reunion, Nene was like uninterested and evasive with her answers. It was just like, oh, well, that's for me to know and you to find out. I'm like, girl, just get to the point. Like, honestly, the reunion, Nene was sitting there as if she didn't even want to be there.
Oh, she did not want to be there. It's obvious. I mean,
was just like, Nene, come on. And then, the whole thing about, like, I think Cynthia or someone said, it was like, or Portia, one of them said, that was like, this just clearly shows that she can dish it,
Portia,
but she can't take it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it was so stupid.
And the thing is like, look, I understand she's got some shit going on in her life with Greg and her relationship and his cancer and all that stuff, and that's fine. And people have shit going on, and I'm sorry for her for that. However, it doesn't give her the right to act like a complete cunt to other people just because she's unhappy and to be disrespectful and rude and not give a fuck about people. Like, she acts like she does, and the fact is she does give a fuck, but she acts like she doesn't. And I think that she's just lost her like humanity or something. I don't know what's gone on with her, but I'm over her. I don't
know. It just seems like every time she starts crying about Greg, I never see any tears fall from her face.
Well, I heard that Greg actually is very violent behind the scenes, and has apparently like throws things, hits walls and shit like that in the past or whatever, and has been abusive that way as well as emotionally abusive to her. That's what I've heard, and that may be true. And the thing is, she never has said anything. And you may look at Greg and say, oh, he seems like such a calm guy, like Andy even said. But it does not mean anything, because trust me, I've been in relationships like that with guys who look one way on the outside and they're actually another behind closed doors. So do not take that, as not necessarily true. It could be true. But I don't blame her if that's the case. If it is true, I don't blame her for being like, so like, I'm kind of over you because you keep promising me this and that. And apparently he cheated on her once or something. I don't know. So I think it's rational and reasonable for her to behave that way in that case. I just think the thing about Cynthia is just ludicrous and just petty and stupid. So, I mean,
so I'm like, you really gonna end a
Yes.
friendship over that?
That's the
out
point.
Of all things
Yes.
you gained a friendship for.
I know. But you know what I was saying when I saw that though, and it's happened with me in my own life and with family or with friends in the past. Typically, when you fall out with somebody, it's over something petty and stupid. I mean, that's really, if you think about, I mean, I don't know if you have had experiences like, you've lost friends or whatever. Yeah. It's usually over something petty and stupid. It's not something big, like they've like tried to kill you or hurt you or in some way or physically or whatever, or like stole money from you or something. It's usually something like, oh, you didn't do this or do that. So it's pretty par for the course. But I think also that in this particular case, though, I think I'm on Cynthia's side, regardless of whether she knew Kenya was coming, because I think that Nene is being redonkulous about the whole fucking thing.
I agree. The ladies look, good for the most part. I would say out of everyone on the reunion, I didn't care for Eva's dress. I take the cut was nice. I didn't like the color.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was gonna say.
I didn't like the color.
Mm-hmm.
And I just this season was just very underwhelming to me. Like
Well, let's talk about quickly. Let's talk about Eva's whole supposed financial situation with her ex and everything else.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought that up
because I thought this is what I think. You can tell me what you think. I think first of all, I don't think it matters if she's lying or not. First of all, it's her fucking business. But if let's say, I think she's telling the truth to some extent. I think she's telling the truth. I think she's telling the truth that they are moving, or at least I don't necessarily have 5 places, but that they actually move around because they're trying to get away from her ex, who was just arrested or just charged with domestic battery just like last week or something. And so that kind of proves her point that he is that way. And she even said, the only reason that because Candy was like, why did you move? I don't understand why you had to move. You didn't move now, And she was all about, why did you have to move or whatever? She's like, because you bitches told everybody my business and where I live, so now I've got to move again to get away from this fucker. That's true, and I think that's the truth. So I think she's telling the truth about that. And I think it's really petty and piss ass wrong for these bitches to go after her and go after her financial situation or whatever it might be and act like she's just, she lives in this raggedy old house, Marlo said, or whatever that her bridesmaid said or whatever. And to bring that up and make a big ordeal is just wrong. I think it's wrong. What do you think?
No, I agree. Now, that part I do understand because there was a clip of her on the Ricky Smiley morning show. I think
I heard this
2 days ago.
Yes.
And they were talking about it, and she started crying. And
yeah, I heard that.
That type of thing. And she said, supposedly Kevin McCall allegedly hit her while she was holding her daughter or something like that.
Right.
And, that's when she was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. But, yeah, I mean, that part I do believe. The only thing I was confused about with Eva this whole season was the whole wedding situation as far as, she was like, she was spending $1,000 a plate and she invited 240 people, which is $240,000. And I was like, why are you spending that much money
on a wedding
if you're supposedly going through quote unquote financial problems?
She didn't say she was going through financial problems. They did. She didn't say that.
Oh, the girls were saying it.
Right, but she never said that herself. They said that. Doesn't make it true.
But here's the thing, though. Even besides that, just totally just off the wall question: who charges $1,000 a plate at a wedding?
Well, like she said,
who pays $1,000 a plate at a wedding?
Like she said, it wasn't like that's how much it cost to feed them. That's how much it cost for the entire wedding per person, $1,000 per person.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like $1,000 plate like dinner. Like the dinner didn't cost $1,000 per person. It was the entire wedding.
Okay, because I think in one of the confessionals, before they cleared up, Candy was like, I think it's like $1,000 a plate. I was like, geez.
She's
okay.
Yeah, and she even said that on that reunion. Eva did. She even said what I just said. She said it wasn't $1,000 per dinner per person. She said it was $1,000 per person total for the entire wedding cost. So like everything that would happen in the wedding, the events and the drinks and food and everything, plus entertainment, all that shit. Her dresses, everything was $1,000 a person total. That was their budget, and that's the way you do it when I had a wedding. It was a per person price, not just per plate, but per person. So that's what she means. So I mean, to me, I mean, I've been the victim of people doing stuff like this, not this specific thing necessarily, but people saying one thing about me and it not being true at all or whatever, and just trying to make it a narrative. And that to me, it feels like the same thing that happened with Marlo. Basically, Marlo took this and ran with it because she was like a dog with a bone with it, of course. And she did everything she could to embarrass her and make her feel bad. And Marlo, what the fuck? Okay, what the fuck does Marlo do? Because somebody said that on the show, and I was like, exactly. What the fuck does she do?
Listen, she's been on there for how many seasons, and we're still trying to figure that out.
That's exactly what they said.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Marlo.
Me too. She's got some good reads and all that shit, but she's
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and she is nice when she wants to be.
Yeah, she can be very loving, but she's also a cunt most of the time.
Right, but it's just like, because this is the vibe that I get from her. On the show, I'm sure she's probably paid to do that and stuff like that. I feel like outside of the show, she would probably be a nice person outside of the show, just like in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, Marlo, girl, you can't be just...
I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. I'm sorry. If she were my friend,
right.
I would not trust her.
Well, you know, Candy was... I think her and Candy was trying to do some type of show together where she was trying to do like... I guess they were trying to do like a...
Oh, shit. I just hung up on Jason. I'm so sorry, Jason. Hold on. I hung up on Jason. I'm so sorry, Jason. 1 second. You're coming back. 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry. He's going to be like, what the fuck happened? Okay, wait. I'm going to call you. Oh, there we go. Hello.
What happened?
I pushed the wrong button. I was closing my windows and I pushed the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh,
continue. Go ahead.
But yeah, I guess Candy and Marlo. Well, Candy was helping Marlo, do this like show. I guess it was supposed to be like a spinoff of like Fashion Queens or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, where they discuss fashion and stuff like that. And Candy said herself that Marlo was very difficult behind the scenes.
Well, that's not a surprise to me at all. I mean, hello, she is a difficult person.
Right.
The thing is, though, that's the thing about people. We always like to do on these shows, like Real Housewives shows or any kind of show that's got like all these archetypes of women or men or whoever. These people who there's the slut, and there's the bitch, and there's the whatever. On these shows, you have to remember. And that's what I think is interesting about them is that all of these people are multidimensional people. So yes, Marlo is a fucking bitch and a fucking cunt, and I don't like her half the time. But half the time, I think she's fucking a lot of fun and she's hilarious as fuck. And she's charming and endearing sometimes, right? So I think you have to look at people that way. That's people who are complicated and complex. So on the one hand, maybe I could hang out with her, be a friend, and hang out with her and have fun. Yes, but I would not trust her, like I said, as far as I could throw her to do anything else. So I would just be hanging out with her. That's okay, but that's it. But Candy, I would trust Candy. I have a lot of trust for her. I think she's very real down to earth.
Too.
Yeah, I love her to death. I think she's cool. I could be her best friend, and I'd be very happy about that. Nene, no, thank you. Tanya, I don't know what to think about. I don't know what to think about her yet.
I like Tanya.
She's all right. I mean, but she's a little. What I mean is, I like her, but I think she's not assertive enough yet, or whatever. She's not really making her personality shine or shine through these other women. Of course, right now it's kind of hard to do that. But and then the other one, Eva. I like Eva. And then Portia. Oh God. Okay, Portia. I did not like Portia at all. This last 2 seasons before now, and I liked her before that because she's a stupid idiot, whatever. And then the last 2 seasons she's been stupid bitch. And then this season though, I've begun to like her again, and she got pregnant and everything, whatever. And she's funny and fun. But her did you see that fucking picture of her pregnant on the stairs with her husband or her fiance?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God, she was pregnant and she was wearing not a bikini, but a negligee. Not what's it called? What's it called? What women wear when they want to be sexy? a negligee, I guess. But it was just the top and the bottom, and her stomach was sticking way out. And then she had her head on his head, rubbing his bald head while he was sitting on the stairs next to her, and she had her other hand on her baby's bump. It was just tacky. It was like the pickle thing that what's her face did, that Phaedra did.
Phaedra and Apollo did.
Just tacky and weird. Anyway, but I'm glad she finally found somebody and she's married. But I don't trust that guy. I don't think they're gonna last forever. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I don't. I mean,
I would like them to, but I don't think they're going to last forever.
Yeah, I don't. But she says she's in love, so I mean, I'll take her word for it for now.
She's in love. No, I think she's in love, and I think he's in love. I think they're in love. I just don't think that he is going to be somebody that's going to be there for the long haul. And she may not want that. She may get tired of his ass and say, "Okay, I'm done with you." And then she tried to get him to sign some kind of rental agreement or some shit on the next episode. I don't know. What was that? Oh, that was on the. Did you see the preview for the Portia's having a baby or whatever?
I didn't see the preview. No.
Oh, it was at the end of the Real Housewives, this last one, and she's doing.
I think the last 5 or 10 minutes I didn't even watch because I was bored.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's how bored. That's how bored I was with this reunion. Like, I don't.
What did you expect to happen? That was going to make you entertained.
The season was boring overall. I mean, I was aware of that, and I thought anything that people had said in their confessionals, they would be able to confront each other, which they did for the most part, except for Nene.
Mm-hmm.
But it just fell flat this season. I was like. And and they're already saying that their ratings are declining, and it's just like it's time to change it up. Bravo! Like
they should get rid of Nene, and they should get rid of. They need to keep Candy because I like Candy. But they need to get rid of Nene, and they need to get rid of maybe Portia. But supposedly Kenya's coming back. By the way, Kenya is slated to come back next season. As a full,
and also Phaedra, because I think Apollo's supposed to be getting out soon.
So exactly, and I don't like Phaedra.
She has a problem with that Phaedra's coming back.
Well, of course she does. But so I mean, she's gonna have to deal with it if she wants to stay on the show.
But then I've also read online. Well, actually, a friend told me that Nene was supposedly fired.
Oh, was she?
I don't know. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true.
Well, did you see how she was talking to Andy? By the way, at that one point, she was like. I can't remember what the question was or what he asked her, and she's like, oh, it was about she was the closet thing, and he first asked her about the closet thing. I am not going to discuss that. I'm not going to discuss that. And she was looking right at him. So you can just stop asking me that right now. I mean, she was like such a fucking bitch to him, and right. I'm sorry, but I could not deal. If I were Andy Cohen, oh my God, there'd be some fighting going on, these bitches. But that's just me.
But it's also one of those things to where, like, Nene thinks that she owns the show just because she's, like, the original.
She's the OG. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, girl, you do not own this show. Like,
no.
And I do feel like, to a certain extent, Andy does kind of take up for her at times when for some things.
Yes.
But it's like, girl, this is not your show. It doesn't say, the Nene Leakes show on Bravo. It's like, you are a cast member with other cast mates. It's like
it's an ensemble, yeah.
It's like, girl, stop. Like, I'm done with Nene.
And then you know what really put me over the edge though with her was when he asked her. He said, I guess I don't know, it was Portia or somebody had brought it up, and he said to her, he said to Nene, he said, but do you take responsibility if you're putting your hands on somebody or whatever he said? And she's like, no. Do you feel bad about it? She said, no, I do not feel bad about it. Blah, blah, blah. And then that's when they said, one of them was in the hospital or had to get go to the hospital because of scratches on her.
She was just like, oh, okay.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, that's how she was. That's just. I mean, to me, I don't like people who are cold. I don't like people who are just completely unredeemable personality-wise, and to me, she's just become that. I just don't like her anymore. Over.
I'm reading it. I don't know if it's true, but there are reports saying that supposedly, according to Celebrity Insider, because I just pulled it up, it's allegedly the rumor is that Nene and Cynthia got fired.
Cynthia too?
Allegedly, according to this, that's the rumor. We don't know if it's true. But
where are you reading this?
Celebrity Insider.
Okay, I don't know that site.
But it's saying that allegedly Nene and Cynthia have been fired.
Interesting.
We don't know if it's true.
Interesting. Well, now I guess that frees Cynthia up to move to L.A. now, so she wants to.
Go to the Housewives of Orange County. No,
but she should be on Beverly Hills. I think they need a black person on Beverly Hills. I really do. I would love to see somebody one of the cast members in Atlanta move to Beverly Hills, and that'd be awesome.
I thought, it's so funny you say that. I thought about the same thing.
Yes, they too. Because I love Beverly Hills. I know you don't watch it, but I love that franchise, that part of the Real Housewives. And they need a black person on there because they're all white. I mean, most of them are like that. Atlanta is the only exception. I think there's not a black person on any of them except Atlanta and Potomac, and they're almost all black on those. Well, they all are on those shows. I kind of think on the other ones there aren't any other people of color, even like Hispanic or Asian or black. Now there was an Asian woman a few years ago on New York. She lasted one season. And she was weird, but she was half Asian actually. But other than her, there was nobody else. And so I think they need to kind of mix it up that way. And I think it would be very interesting to see how one housewife from Atlanta, for example, interacts with the women from Beverly Hills if she moves to Beverly Hills or whatever, and she interacts with them, or the OC or whatever. I think that would be so interesting to see because the dynamics would be completely different, and I just want to see that. So,
right. And then also there was a rumor circulating online saying that supposedly Robin Givens was going to be joining Atlanta.
Oh my God, I cannot stand her at all.
I was like, no, I'm sorry. They would eat her alive. They would eat her alive. Sorry, Robin, I don't see it for you.
No, Robin thinks she's all that though. She'd be all, I don't know, I don't like her. I don't like her.
And then my sister was like, well, she did date Mike Tyson, so I don't know.
Yeah, but he beat the shit out of her though. So anyway, yeah. So and then I watched New York, Beverly Hills, and I watched Dallas, and I watched Potomac. I watch every single franchise. I watch all of them, so I know what's going on. All
starts in like
next week or something. Next week or the next week. Yeah. And then I've heard rumors something about what's his name, Michael. And Ashley and Michael apparently was caught with some woman or something. I don't know. There's a rumor about that now, but she's pregnant and having a baby now. So
I mean, but is he supposedly allegedly bisexual or something?
That was a rumor started by was it Karen? No, Giselle. I think it was Giselle, and that was because they said that there was a picture of him with this guy in some video. In London getting his dick sucked or something like that. And the guy was not him. It wasn't him. I mean, it was proven not to be him. So that's what she said. It's just a guy who looked like him, kind of.
I mean, I don't care if he is, but I was just like,
I don't think he's gay at all. I don't think he's gay. I think that was she's just being a bitch. And that's the other thing I wanted to say real quick about specifically Atlanta and the Potomac, and it's because it's two black cast, and I'm sorry, but this is the truth, because this is the way the black community is in general. They're very homophobic and all that, and just in general. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of them are, including my fucking father. Anyway, so I think that it's wrong when the women go in and Marlo's like, oh, so I hear you're a lesbian in L.A. and blah, blah, and they act like it's this horrible thing, and and they did that in Potomac as well about Michael, and alleging he was gay or whatever, and right. Every time, so they go to this gay thing, and that really, really irritates me because, and it did, I think Andy mentioned it once on one of the reunions about how, you act like this is something that's bad, and you act like it's, you're saying, oh, like they robbed a bank or something, instead of just the fact that it's maybe their sexuality. And it really irritates me. Does that irritate you at all when they do that? Or
oh no, it irritates me all the time. They do it on a lot of reality shows, but it is annoying and irritating and that type of thing.
I think it's wrong. I mean, I think people who couch being gay is like this bad thing, and like, oh, he's gay or she's a lesbian. Right. Maybe they are or not. It doesn't matter. It's like
that's just like the same thing for me. I guess this would be a slight transition, but like the black church. I've always had an issue with the black church because it's like
me too. My dad.
It's like I guess it's a different topic for
my dad's a deacon.
Oh Lord. Lord Jesus.
I told you all that a long time ago. I thought I told you. He said,
you probably did. I forgot. Though.
I told you he called me a demon and everything because I'm gay and then the devil's inside me. All this shit. It was ridiculous.
But here's the thing with the black church, and I know we need to move on to other stuff. But someone asked me how because Easter was Sunday, and so it was like, oh, are you going to church? I was like, no. And they were like, why not? I was just like, and then I had to go into this whole
Lord. Well, I don't really blah blah blah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it was just like this thing about, I was like, yeah, the black church is just like, it's a little too much for me. So I was just like,
well, you probably don't feel welcome there, do you? I wouldn't imagine you would.
No, it's not
and able to be yourself,
Right. But the thing is also is that for me, I feel like a lot of the rules that they have in the church, in the black church, are kind of like man-made. It's like, you know, you can believe in this, but you can believe in this. You can do this, but you can't do that. You can't do this, but you can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, what do you think religion is? What do you think religion is? It's all man-made. It's all made up.
well, I know, but it's like, but especially in the black church, it's like they all like they have these man-made rules, like you can't be gay, but you can be a single woman with 9 kids with 9 different men. You can do this, but you can like you know you're not supposed to be twerking, but you know that type of thing. You're not supposed to drink alcohol, but it's okay if you do this. You're not supposed to do this, but it's like,
so you're saying they're hypocrites?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just
well, all religious people are
go to
hypocrites.
church.
Every single religious person in the world is a hypocrite to some degree because nobody ever lives up to the standards that they themselves purport to be following 100%. I'm sorry. And so unless they do that, then they're a hypocrite. If they expect other people to act a certain way and they don't themselves, that's hypocrisy. So fuck that. Fuck them too. I hate people. I'm so over people these days. Anyway, did you watch The View? Have you ever watched The View? I know it's all white women except for a couple now, but
I love watching The View. I mean, I don't watch it all the time because I'm not always able to watch it. But if not, I try to catch a lot of the clips on YouTube because they have a YouTube channel. But
yeah, well, it's
yeah.
I've watched it since the very beginning in the 90s, 98 or whatever it was, 97, 98. And I've always watched. I've always loved it. Anyway, so but there was a book that came out that I'm reading now. It's called Ladies Who Punch. And it's a behind-the-scenes look, and it's unauthorized basically, but some of it's unauthorized. But the fact that he actually talked to everybody on The View except for 2 people that's ever been on The View ever, behind the scenes as well as on the panel. Anyway, and it talks about all the people and who they really are, how they act, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's very, very fascinating. So if anybody likes to read out there, read Ladies Who Punch. It's very, very salacious and very, very good. It talks about Rosie O'Donnell. It talks about Elizabeth Hasselbeck. It talks about Joy Behar. It talks about Barbara Walters. Every single person who's ever been on the show has been fired, by the way. Everybody who's ever been on the show that's left, has been fired. Despite what they said. Yeah, and the star as well was fired, yes. Go ahead.
What's the name of the show that used to come on VH1 that had Vanessa Williams on it, and it was pretty much like they did like this side-eye parody of The View? Remember, it came out like a year or 2 ago?
No.
It was scripted. Remember, it was scripted. Vanessa Williams was like the main cast.
I remember hearing something about her when she's promoting that.
Daytime Divas.
Yes.
And I love that show. And it, because Star Jones was kind of like the writer.
She wrote the book it was based on. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was like she was like the executive producer on the show or something like that.
That too.
But it was pretty much just like kind of like another parody like version of like what The View was like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it because I thought it was funny. I actually enjoyed watching Daytime Divas, and they canceled after 1 season.
Yeah.
But that type of thing. But I'm not surprised. I mean, a lot of the people there on The View, I like watching The View, and I really do. But okay, here's the thing about The View. I used to really actually like Meghan McCain.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, girl.
She has emotional problems.
Like, prior to being on The View, I used to follow her on Instagram and everything because she was like
a rational Republican.
Right.
Yes.
And I really liked her. But then when she got on The View, it's like she changed all of a sudden.
Well, I think the reason that is, I don't think she's changed. I think that just it's kind of amplified now because she's the only. I mean, well, there's Abby Huntsman on there, but she's not as vocal as Meghan is. She's the only like real like staunch Republican on the panel who has high opinions of everything, and she constantly feels like she has to defend the right wing's view or the Republican viewpoint. So the good thing is, I mean, she is rational to an extent because she doesn't like Donald Trump. She doesn't support a lot of the bullshit. She supports gay rights. She supports a lot of things that our liberal agenda has. But she enjoyed getting into it or whatever on the show. I'm like, she pisses me the fuck off. I'm like, I would have done exactly the fucking same thing that Joy did that one time. And she's like talking, and she's like, well, if you let me fucking talk or whatever she said, something like that. She's like, and she's like, oh, Joy, it's your job to listen to me or something like that. Or I don't know what the fuck she said. I'm like, what the fuck?
They did a parody of it on SNL.
Yes, I saw that. Yes. I loved it when she goes, the woman who plays her, Abby, Adie Bryant plays her on SNL. And she's like, I am the princess of Arizona. I'm just like, that's hilarious. But
that was funny.
She saw it.
I didn't know that Meghan and Adie Bryant had like had gone to high school together.
Yeah, I saw Eddie Bryant came on there to promote the show, which I loved, called Shrill. It's so fucking hilarious. And about, I don't know, 2 months ago, whatever. And it's on, I think it's on Netflix. And she talked about how they knew each other and they went to the same high school and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, and then Megan saw it yesterday's View, and they played that parody. And she just cracked up and thought it was hilarious. So
I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
So she can take a joke about herself, which is good.
I love how Whoopi stepped in like a black mama on Thanksgiving dinner. She stepped in. Whoopi stepped in and was like, "What we're not going to do is do this." She reminded me so much of my mom when me and my siblings get into it or something.
Does she?
Because me and my sisters will get into it about something, and my mom would start being so quick, like, "Excuse me, what we're not going to do is this. We're not doing this, okay?"
Oh, that's cute. I love Whoopi though. She's cool. But you know, when the book right now, I'm on the Rosie O'Donnell era, and apparently Whoopi came on there towards the end of when Rosie was on there, and they did not get along at all. No, I don't think I think they're both of them have too big of egos and like too big of like they're too big, huge stars. You know what I mean? And I think there was just Rosie O'Donnell and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, they didn't get along?
No. According to Rosie O'Donnell specifically, they did not get along. They did not like each other, and blah blah blah. But anyway, or she liked Whoopi, but Whoopi didn't like her. I think that's what it was.
I didn't know that. That's actually shocking to me. I had no idea.
I think it's because Rosie was the moderator the first season. She was on there before she, the whole thing happened with Elizabeth.
Rosie did moderate for a while.
Yeah, and then it was kind of a push and pull thing, and that was her first season on there, Whoopi's and all that stuff. And so anyway, but
I like when Joy moderates too when Whoopi isn't there.
Oh, I love it when Joy's there. Joy's hilarious. Oh my god! And the book, oh my god, she's exactly the same as she is. I mean, she's the same person. I mean, it's hilarious.
A lot of people hate on Joy. I really like Joy. Like, to me, Joy is one of the few people that I know that is pretty much pro black / pro minority for a lot of things.
Yeah, she's out of the 60s. Yeah, she's all for that stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like, because someone was like, "Oh, I can't stand that bitch." I was like, "I'm like,
why? I love her.
They are.
Me too. Me too. I love her. I love her.
It's like, I was like, you don't see too many. I hate to bring up race, but it's like, you don't see too many white women or white people in general in the public eye that are like pro-black this or pro-minority.
You have to realize, though, that she grew up in New York City. She grew up in a tenement in the poorest part of New York City, and in like the 30s or 40s or whatever it was, 40s I think, when she was a kid. I mean, and then the 30s when she was a kid, and then in the 60s when she was in her 20s or whatever, she was part of the whole feminist movement. She's part of the Black rights movement. She was part of all that stuff. She's
Right.
from New York City, where it's a melting pot of people, so they have a lot more diversity and a lot more acceptance of people there. And so that's who she grew up there, and that's who she is. So it makes sense to me that that's who she is. And there's plenty of people like her around the world. It's
Right.
just,
I mean, the only person. I mean, I'm sure there are other people too, but the only person I can really think of immediately off the top of my head that's like that is George Clooney.
you comparing George Clooney and Joy Behar to one another.
No. I'm talking about as far as being pro-minority, stuff like that. But
Despite being Caucasian, you mean?
right.
Okay. Well,
But I'm sure there are others
Madonna
too,
is
but-
like that. Her whole fucking career has been that way about exploring race and race relations, but you wouldn't know that since you don't know much about her. But anyway.
Of course, you have Angelina Jolie too and stuff like that. Like, I mean, there are people out there who,
There's
are
tons.
like that. But yeah,
But did you know, one quick fun fact, Rosie O'Donnell, when she left her show, the people who were producing the show asked Joy Behar to take her place. And Joy said no. And Joy said no. I can't remember why she said no, but she didn't. She said no. And now she regrets that she never did that. But they were going to put her on her show. Which is very. I don't know if you remember. You were probably a kid, like a little kid or so. I don't know. I don't know how old you were when Rosie O'Donnell was on. How old were you, like in 1996?
you mean when she had the Rosie show?
Yes.
I was young. I was probably maybe like 10, 11.
Yeah,
maybe?
so you were like a little kid. I don't know even if you watched it, but
No, I watch. I love watching Rosie O'Donnell. I watch
Okay.
it because I remember during summer break, I would watch her show like every day.
yeah. So you know what it was a huge show, huge hit, whatever.
Right.
And so they were gonna let Joy take over basically, like they do on like the Tonight Show and stuff like that, and that show and just continue it on. But they didn't anyway. But she didn't want to do it. But now she says she regrets that she never did it. But anyway, but she but she. Oh, by the way, and she's the one out of all of the people. She said, I mean, she quoted saying this, that she was not ever afraid of Barbara Walters. She didn't give a shit what Barbara Walters thought about her, and she didn't care if she liked her or not initially when she first met her, because she was like, I'm either gonna get the job or I won't. When she was auditioning for The View, and she ends up getting it, and now they're friends or whatever. But Barbara Walters is a fucking bitch. I'm gonna tell you that, okay? She's a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of more View stuff, you remember that clip that circulated of Elizabeth Hasselbeck and
Yes.
Barbara Walters when Elizabeth stormed off stage and she said that she's quitting.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff. I was like, girl, we know, but okay.
Yeah, I don't like her. I cannot stand her. Go ahead.
Does Joy still do HLN? Remember she had
No, her show was canceled when they moved it to that channel was bought by Al Jazeera, and when they bought it, they canceled her show. So she was on for like 2 or 3 seasons, and it did fine, but then they canceled her show.
Because I actually enjoyed watching her on that.
Me too.
She's a comedian too, so I watched it. It was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, but she's very political, so she was good for that show. Anyway.
I hated it when I hate that they canceled her show.
But anyway, that book is really awesome. So if you want to know the behind the scenes of The View and all the good, juicy gossip, not gossip, the truth. I mean, really stuff that you'll never know otherwise. It's awesome to read about what happened to everybody and why they're there and why they left. Anyway,
I'm gonna check this book out.
It's really good. It's really, really good, and it's a New York Times bestseller now and everything. It's really good, and there's a reason for that. Okay, let's talk about Wendy Williams. Your favorite friend.
And unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks, Wendy Williams has filed for divorce. None of us are surprised by this. Okay?
Oh no. Even when I used to watch her show years ago, I haven't watched it in years now. But years ago, when I used to watch her show, I was like, "Why the fuck is she with this guy?" And everybody was saying that he was cheating on her and blah blah blah. So what the fuck? It was not surprising at all to anybody.
Yeah. So then when I was reading the comments when the news officially broke, like, what was that, last week or the week before when she filed for divorce? And it was like breaking news when like every comment underneath there was like,
no shit.
Time. And I was like, we saw it coming because that's why she relapsed and started doing drugs again. Like, I'm not a woman, but I can only imagine that if you're married to a man who steps out and sleeps with another woman, and then the woman has a baby by your husband, that would be a lot for anyone to swallow. You know what I mean?
Of course. And I heard today there was a rumor that he was gay or having sex with some gay guy who said he had sex with him a couple times or a few times or whatever. And I'm like, I don't believe it, but that's what the guy said.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that topic up because I kind of have an issue with that, with this man coming forward saying that he supposedly sleeps with men too and that type of thing. He may not. I don't know. Based on just what I think, I'm going to say no, but anything could be possible. But it seems like I hate the messy gays, and when I say the messy gays, it's like he did this interview on YouTube with Unwind with Tasha K, which I love watching her. I watch her whenever I can. She has a lot of she does a lot of celebrity gossip, stuff like that. And so Unwind with Tasha K interviewed this man. I don't even remember the man's name, and he was telling his side of the story. But the thing that really pissed me off about this is that he took so much delight in airing all of this stuff. He was just so delighted and just so willingly just really just put all his business out there. And I'm like, I said, see, this is why straight people, a small percentage of straight people have an issue with gay people because, one of the issues that they have with gay people, because they feel like we're going to be friends until you piss us off, then we're going to air out all your business and all this kind of stuff.
What does that have to do with being gay, Jason? There's plenty of women who do that to heterosexual men.
No, what I'm saying is there's that stigma out there that people don't like to be friends with gay people or anything.
Never heard of that. Anybody who doesn't want to be friends with a gay person is a fucking homophobe. So.
No, but I guess. Well, let me rephrase it. It's like when a gay person is friends with a straight person, let's put it that way, particularly in the black community, okay? If a black gay man happens to be friends with a black straight man, most of the time it's okay. But then, not everyone, but I have seen this to where there have been moments when they've fallen out or whatever reason, and then the gay man wants to be messy and be like, well, he tried to hit on me and he tried to do this to me, he tried to do that to me, and you may want to check your man because he tried to make a pass to me once and stuff like that, even though he knows it's not true, but he'll do it just for clout, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, but it's like it's just very weird, and this happens mainly from what I've seen in the black community.
Well,
Now, I'm sure it happens in other communities too, but I can only speak for myself because I've seen it happen in my community.
mhm.
But it's like,
That's why I don't mess. That's why I don't mess with gay. That's why I don't mess with black people because they're bitches and they're assholes and they're homophobes. So fuck them.
here comes the hate mail. Make sure you send your hate mail to Donovan at
All those
gayxyz.com.
fucking homophobic black people. It's awful. Terrible people.
That's DONOVAN at gayxyz.com.
I'm serious, Jason. Listen to me. Listen to me. I have black friends, of course. I mean, you're one of them. But I'm just saying, like I have people I have friendships with that are black or whatever, and I have no problem with black people. I'm half black, so it's fine. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying that it's like people. When I go into a black community or black people around black people, me myself, for example. Oh, I'll give you an example, okay?
Someone is going to take this clip and send it to the shade room, and we're going to be
care.
on fire tomorrow morning.
I don't
I'm
care.
gonna be like, listen, I have no comment.
I started in January. I started just like twice a week. It's just like a side thing I do. I teach interior design class at a community college in Dallas, and as a professor there. And so one of my students, I'm not gonna give you her name, but let's just call her Trisha. Okay, she's black. And Trisha's like, she's like 50 years old. She's an older student. And the rest of them are all like, 19, 20, whatever. Anyway, and so she's had a lot of issues because she needs a lot of help, whatever. So I'm always helping her. But anyway, so she's real nice. We talk a lot, whatever. And so finally one day she comes out of the room and she comes out. And she's a hairstylist. She just moved from Chicago here. And she comes out of the room and she says, and I'm locking up the door because she was the last person to leave. She usually is because she needs so much help. And so I locked the door and I was saying, have a good day, weekend or whatever. And she's like, by the way, she's like, what race are you? And I'm like,
oh, you told me this.
I told you this, but I didn't tell them this. So I'm telling you.
Okay.
So I'm like, what race? She's like, what race are you? And I'm like, did I tell you this? I don't remember telling you this. But anyway, and I go, what do you mean? And she's like, well, are you, what are you? I'm like, I'm American. I knew what she meant, of course, but I'm like, I'm American. And she's like, no, I mean, like, what's your mom and your dad? I said, well, my mother is white and my father is black. She goes, really? I go, yeah. She goes, I thought you were Latino. I go, no, I'm not. I'm not Latino. I'm half, I'm not one drop of Latin blood in me. I may appear to be Latin to some degree, but I'm not at all. I know this for a fact. And she's like, are you sure? She kept going on and on. Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I am sure. And so it just really pisses me off. And so the reason I'm pointing this out is because it's like, and then after that, she asked me, can I do your hair? And who does your hair? And whatever, stuff like that. It's just, to me, it's these kind of questions. Now, these are the kind of questions I get from black people. White people hardly ever ask me that question or ever come up to me and just out of the blue say that. I think black people feel more comfortable because it's a racial thing. I don't know. And they think it's okay to just come up to me and talk to me about my race. But it pisses me the fuck off when you're constantly asking me
a question about my hair all the time.
No, I'm not talking about my hair. I'm talking about my race. I'm talking about my race.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you don't get asked that question. You don't get to say, well, are you black? Are you white? Are you this? Are you that? You don't get asked that?
No, I do from other races occasionally.
You get what?
I do get asked that question from other races occasionally.
You're a black man. You look like a black man.
I know, but for some reason, people think that I'm not black. People think that I'm like I'm like Dominican.
Oh,
or
Jamaican or something or whatever. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they think that I'm Dominican or that I'm like Ethiopian.
So not African. Well, that's African. But you meant like, okay, so what you're saying. Well,
because one guy was like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "No, this happened like 3 weeks ago. I was at I don't know. I think I was at like Dollar Tree or something like that." And the guy was like, the guy that was working at the counter. He was just like, first of all, he was speaking Spanish to me. He was like, "Hola, como estás?" And I was like, "Hola," because that's all I really know.
Yeah.
And then he started going on and on and on and on. and I was like, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish, and he was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah,
I get
don't
that
speak-"
too all the
He's like,
time.
"Oh, I thought you know, you
Mhm.
were, possibly Dominican or something." I was like, "As far as I know,
I
I'm
get
not."
that all the time too, Jason. People will come up to me and start speaking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, blah blah blah. And I know some Spanish, but not much. And I'm like, no habla español, and they're like, you know, really, or verdad, or whatever. I'm like, no, and they're like, what, you know, what are you? I'm like, what are you? What are you? And so it's always that question. So anyway, but I just get fucking tired of that question. But the reason I was talking about that was because you're talking about the black community and about being gay and stuff, and then they put the stuff on people. I think that's like, you know, to me, when I said that about like I don't hang out with a lot of black people because I don't go when I go into the community, a black community, I have to contend with both being biracial and both being gay. And, you know, I can't just go in there and just hang out with people and not be asked questions about my race or be asked questions about my sexual orientation, not just be accepted as a fucking human being. It's
No,
always that way.
I don't think. Well,
For
yeah,
me,
but I
it's
think
been that way.
You also just haven't been to the right places.
I've been around 1,000,000 black people in my life, with my own family, within out my family, friends, whatever. It's always the fucking same thing, okay? And so I've never been around. When I say black people, I'm saying like a group, a congregation of black people, whether it's in a church or whether it's in an organization or whatever. And you go there, I always feel out of place because I'm biracial, and biracial people always feel out of place because we never fit in anywhere 100%. So that's okay. But I'm just saying that they always make me feel like I have to explain myself, and so that's why I don't typically go to like black places, even quote unquote black places. You know what I mean? Because I feel uncomfortable, and that's why.
Like establishments.
Yeah, it's not because I like don't want to hang out with them or go there or anything. It's just that I just don't feel comfortable because I know what it's going to be like when I get there. And so I don't know what it is about black people. They always just feel so comfortable asking these kind of questions. And like I said, I guess it's because it's a racial thing, and people like think, okay, well, you know, you're a racial minority or whatever, and I'm a racial minority, so we can commiserate on this race thing. I don't know, but it annoys the fuck out of me. So anyway, whatever.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Donovan, Dono.
I will stand by everything I said. I have no regrets.
Someone's gonna chop up this clip that we just talked
I ain't
about.
nobody gonna hear the show anyway. It does not
Send
matter.
it to the shade room, and then we're gonna wake up and we're gonna go viral for the wrong reasons.
Okay, if you say so. You don't watch Game of Thrones, do you?
I do not.
Okay, well, just FYI, those of you who watch Game of Thrones, very good the last 2 weeks. Oh, I want to tell you about two shows that I watched that you probably will never watch because there aren't black people on it. But anyway, actually, there's one person on there who's Indian, so that's kind of close to being black. But anyway, she's it's called Special on Netflix, and it's about this.
I have Netflix.
I'm just telling you and everybody else.
Okay, go
that
on.
may have Netflix, not just you, not all about you, Jason. There's this really great show on Netflix called Special, and it's based on a book by this guy named Ryan O'Neal, who's gay, and he also has cerebral palsy, and it's about a mild case of it, and it's about his life being a gay guy with cerebral palsy, and people always act like he's quote unquote special or whatever, and it's fucking hilarious. And his friend Kim, you would fucking love her. She's so fucking hilarious. I love her to death. She's the Indian chick. Anyway, if you guys have Netflix, watch it. It's worth it. The other show I love is called Killing Eve, which is on Hulu, also on BBC America. And that's with Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy days, a long time ago. She's the main character. It's fucking amazing. If you've never seen Killing
Wendy
Eve.
Williams was talking about that the other day.
Killing Eve, yeah, it's a fucking amazing. I watched it last year. I just was looking for something on TV, and I watched it. And I literally the whole series, the whole first season, I watched in one night. It was like 5-6 hours of TV I watched in one night. And then the second season's out now, so it's really really good. So just want to get those out there because those are some really great shows that you will fucking love. I promise you. And then I want to quickly say something about Pete Buttigieg, which is the guy who's the gay guy running for president of the United States of America.
Yep.
He is. If you're gonna have a gay guy running for president of the United States of America, this is the guy to run because he is a veteran. He is a Christian. He is married and monogamous. He is a Rhodes Scholar. He went to Harvard. I mean, if you're going to have a gay guy, this is the one because he's like beyond reproach, besides the fact that he's gay, obviously. So I think it's fucking amazing, and I really hope that this guy goes far. What do you think about it?
A lot of people, I was watching Trevor Noah talk about him on The Daily Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading the comments. A lot of people really like him.
Yeah, gay or not. Yes.
I mean, exactly. There are a lot of straight individuals that were like, "I'll vote for him. I'll vote for him.
Yes.
I'll vote for him." I was just like, I mean, even like on when I was watching CNN, he has a lot of people following, supporting him.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of support behind him. He's actually I think he's the second or third candidate. I think he's the second candidate and the second most, like, you know, the polls and stuff. People who are saying, who would you vote for right now, or whatever. He's at the second in line or whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah, he's like number 2 or number
Biden
3.
or something is number
crazy.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that are supporting him is insane.
Well, I think it's great.
I mean, which is great because, I mean, it shows that there's a, turnaround.
Right. And of course, the fucking right is constantly trying to say, like, one guy said, "Oh, well, if we have him as president, everybody's going to be butt fucking," or something like that. Well, it wasn't that word, but he's something like that.
Still think like that
because people are fucking. Why is anybody a fucking idiot? They're idiots. They're fucking idiots. I mean, they really are fucking morons. That's why they think like that, because they're stupid motherfuckers. Anyway, that's why they're fucking right-wing people, because the only right-wing people are that fucking stupid. So anyway, they voted for fucking Trump. How stupid can you fucking be? Anyway, what was the other thing I was going to say about him? I don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. So I hope he goes far.
I was kind of support. Well, I still support Beto up until
Beto O'Rourke.
I came, yeah, but now with him, I'm like, I may have to just switch. Shift a little bit, and
Right. Well, there's been 15 different. I mean, there's supposed to be, like, by the time they're done, 15 to 22 different candidates for running for the primaries for Democratic Party. So, I mean, it's going to be really busy.
My mom's like, "Do you think Trump is going to rerun again or go again? Run again for president?" I'm like, yeah, he's too stubborn not to. Of course he's going to do it.
Well, his ego is too big. Of course he would. He doesn't want to lose the job.
Of course he would. Honestly, I don't think he's going to run a second term. I've heard some people say that they think that he will, mainly if he steals the election, like he did the first time. Catch that. But they were like, "Oh, if he steals the election again, he may get it." And I was like, "Please don't say that."
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Please don't say that. But I guess, but in a way, they could be telling the truth. I mean, he stole the first one. Catch.
He did. I wanted to say before we go, unless you have something else you want to talk about quickly, I think I talked about this, I don't know, a few months ago or whatever when we did the show, but I told you, I don't know if I told you, but maybe I did, I don't know. But anyway, I've been writing a book for like 20 years about my life, a memoir, and then I also, in October actually last year, I started writing a poetry book, and this poetry book is a collection of 100 poems. Well, it's not 100 poems. I had 100 poems I'd written over the past 25 years, and then this book is a collection of like 50 or so of them, maybe more, I don't know. Anyway, so this book is called Heartaches, and it comes out on August 6th for retail. But it's already been released to distributors as of yesterday, and to go to Barnes & Noble, Amazon, iBooks, Apple, and then local booksellers. So all between now and then, that's what we'll be doing, is getting a lot of stuff happening. But I wanted to say, if you're interested, you can go to donovanlord.net, N-E-T, and you can read about that there, or you can go to the publisher's website, 8squarepress.com, and find out more about it there as well. And it'll be available for a pre-order in June. But this book it's called Heartaches, and it's about all these different heartaches of my life, and some of it's about race. One of those poems is called "What Are You?" There's some about love relationships, some about hatred, some people I couldn't stand or whatever, family, and then just general and marriage as well, and the trials and tribulations of being married.
You know your career's going to take off once this book is released. You know that, right?
Oh, please.
It's going to become New York's bestseller.
Oh, that's nice of you.
You're going to start doing book signings in New York City, and you're going to be on The View and Oprah's
Oh,
Book
my
Club.
God. No, I won't be. None of that's going to happen, Jason.
Before you know it, Jill Scott's going to reach out to you, and she wants you to collaborate on her album.
Oh, my God.
Poetry.
Yes.
And I'll be like, oh, well.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah, I'm like, he's doing big things. He's on TV.
I wish all that were true, but that's not going to happen. A poetry book, just FYI, if you sell, they say if you sell 2,000 copies of a poetry book, it's considered to be a bestseller, because poetry books don't sell like a novel or something, unless you're famous. If you're famous and you write a poetry book, yes. But so I'm not expecting it to. I'm not doing it for the money or anything, or even fame or anything like that. I'm doing it because I really wanted to express these things I've had to deal with all of my life.
It's possible. A lot of people.
Yeah.
don't think that's gonna happen.
Nothing gonna happen like that for
they
me.
Just their career takes off after that.
Well, that's nice of you to say that, and that would be great, and I welcome that. I mean, I'm open to the universe for that, but I don't see it happening. But thank you.
Then, I'll just be, Donovan's sidekick after that. So.
Well, now when we have a national platform,
Donovan's poor sidekick.
No, then we're going to be on Bravo Channel doing our show or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited about it, and so be sure to check it out. It's a hardback cover. It'll also be available in ebook, and also I'm doing an audio book version of it as well. So I can't wait. So if you really want to know more about me, you can read that book, and that book is going to be a lead-in to my actual autobiography, which I hope to finally fucking finish this year, and then publish next year, the next year after that. So just keep that in mind, peeps. Okay. Anything else you want to say today, Jason, before we go?
Anyone who's into 420, I hope you had a great 420. Everyone had a good Easter.
Yes.
A good Valentine's Day.
Yes.
A good New Year's. I'm just going all the way back. No, honestly, seriously though, if anyone is into 420, I hope you were safe for 420 Easter. I hope you guys had a, good weekend, good holiday. My cousin went to Denver, had flown to Denver for 420, and he was doing Facebook Live. The amount of people that were in Denver for 420 was insane.
Well, of course, it's Denver. It's Colorado.
and honestly, secretly, I wish I could have gone with him.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't smoke marijuana, but I just want to go for the edibles.
That's all I do are edibles. I don't use edibles, yeah.
I just want to go for the edibles. He was like, he said he went to this one place and they had like candy and all this stuff. Like it was like a candy store, but it was all like edibles.
Yeah, my good friend Kathy is from Denver, and she's huge. She loves that kind of stuff, and she's telling me about that, how they have all that shit there. Yeah, it's amazing.
I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have go. I would have been so high on gummy bears or something. But,
yes, that's the best. And they have lollipops and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I made lollipops once, and they did not turn out because they tasted like pot. But I made cookies the first time, and they were fucking amazing. Chocolate chip cookies. Oh my God, those were amazing. But that's the only 2 times I've ever had anything. But I don't like to smoke them because I don't like to smoke anything really except dick. So it's just me.
Jesus, people.
Anyway, okay, so I hope you guys have a great week. We'll be back whenever we're back. I'm not going to say when because we never fucking know. So we'll be back sometime, someday.
Well, Donovan's schedule's been booked to capacity. So
not just me. It's not just me. It's just been an inability for us to coordinate our schedules to work together. But anyway, today worked out, so I'm glad. So everybody have a great day. Stay gay, as we say. And we will see you all next time. Thanks for listening to the show. And I'll be sure and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and my site, donovanlord.net, and of course, gayxyz.com.
Don't forget iHeart.
And iHeartRadio. Yes, don't forget to listen to us there. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.